Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone. So today we will start with the net operating income approach. Yesterday, what was the name of the theory that we did? Anyone tell me? What was the name of the theory? Who is Sapna Chetri? Please unmute and tell me. Who is Sapna Chetri?
Ma'am, that is me, Pratiksha.
Pratiksha. Okay, fine. Okay. Yes. So who will tell me what was the theory that we read yesterday?
Net income approach.
Net income approach. Yes. So that was the very first theory in capital structure. The next similar sort of theory, but with a little bit of difference. That is called net operating income approach. This is our second theory. Okay. Now we want to highlight the net operating income approach, which was advocated by David Durant based on certain assumptions. So this theory was developed by David Durant, and at the very beginning he has set certain assumptions, and based on that assumptions the theory has been formulated. The first assumption says that the overall capitalization rate of the firm, this is called overall capitalization rate, sometimes also known as overall cost of capital. Okay. So the overall capitalization rate of the firm, let us denote it by KW. We can also denote it by K naught, not a problem. Okay. So the overall capitalization of the firm KW is constant for all degrees of leverages. That means degrees of leverages means what? Inclusion of debt in the capital structure, the proportion of debt in the total capital structure. So it says that whatever is the degree of leverage, the capitalization rate, that is K naught or KW, the overall capital weighted average cost of capital, you can also say, that is going to remain same for whatever is the degree of leverages. Next assumption based on which this theory has been developed is net operating income is capitalized at an overall capitalization rate in order to have the total market value of the firm. When we will do sums, we will see this difference clearly. Okay, in the previous assumption, in the previous theory, value of the firm was simply value of the equity plus value of debt. But here we will find out the value of the firm in a different way. What we will do is we will divide the EBIT, that is earnings before interest and tax, by the overall capitalization rate, and that will become the value of the firm. Second assumption says that in order to arrive at the value of the firm, total market value of the firm, we need to divide the EBIT by KW, since both are constant and independent of leverages. Both this EBIT and KW will be independent of leverages. Okay, so we need to derive this value of the firm with the help of this formula. You can see in your screen, it is EBIT by KW. Third assumption says the market value of the debt is then subtracted from the total market value in order to get the market value of equity. So now what we will do is, in order to find out the market value of equity, say there is a mistake in the formulation. One equals to has been written as a minus. So suppose if we are denoting market value of the firm as with V, and we are denoting market value of debt by T. Okay, We are denoting market value, total market value by V, and we are denoting market value of debt by T. So in order to get the market value of equity, what we will do? We will just deduct the market value of debt from the total market value. That is S equals to V minus T. Like that. Okay. Fourth assumption says, as the cost of debt is constant, the cost of equity will be what? As the cost of debt is constant, because it is not changing, no, since the for whatever is the leverage amount, the overall capitalization rate is not changing. So the cost of debt, since it is constant, the cost of equity will be KE equals to EBIT minus I minus S. What is this I? This I is the interest amount being paid, and S is the value of the equity. Okay. You just try to read this diagram. I'll be back within 2 minutes, okay? Just try to read the diagram. Okay, so let us read the diagram now. It says, the NOI approach can be illustrated with the help of this diagram, which you can see on the screen. Okay, under this approach, the most significant assumption is that the overall capitalization rate, that is KW, is constant irrespective of the degree of leverage. So if it is a constant, it has to be a straight line, right? It has to be a straight line. Now it will be parallel to which axis? It will be parallel to the axis. It will be parallel to the axis on which you have plotted the degree of leverage. So suppose we have plotted the degree of leverage on the x-axis That means the overall capitalization rate, that is KW, will be parallel to the x-axis. Under this approach, the most significant assumption is this one. The segregation of debt and equity is not important here, and the market capitalizes the value of the firm as a whole. Why the segregation is not important? Because this overall capitalization rate has been declared to be constant. As per according to the degree of leverage, this overall capitalization rate is not going to change. So the debt and equity segregation is not important here, and the value of the firm is calculated as a whole. How it is calculated? We divide the EBIT by the KW, that is overall capitalization rate. That is how we calculate the total value of the firm. Okay, in the previous case, net income approach, we would have calculated the total value of the firm after finding out the value of the debt, value of the equity, and then adding them both. That is how we need to find out the total value of the firm. But here, since that KW has been declared to be constant throughout, that is why we will have to find out the total value of the firm as a whole. How will you find as a whole? We'll just divide EBIT by KW, that is overall capitalization rate. Okay. Thus, an increase in the use of apparently cheaper debt funds is offset exactly by the corresponding increase in the equity capitalization rate. Now, if it is constant, if KW is constant, then that means something is happening with the cost of equity and cost of debt. That is why this KW is not changing. Now, what is happening with the cost of debt and cost of equity? An increase in the use of apparently cheaper debt funds. Suppose you want to increase the use of debt funds because it is apparently cheaper than the cost of equity. So if you want to go on increasing the amount of debt, that means you are increasing the degree of leverage in the capital structure. That advantage or that increase is going to be offset. That means it is going to be striked off. It is going to be just balanced. It is going to be offset. Exactly. By what? By the corresponding increase in the equity capitalization rate. That means it is going to be exactly offset by the cost of equity. If cost of debt is increasing, it is going to be offset by the increase in the cost of equity. So that is how that cost, overall cost, that is KW, is going to be constant. So the weighted average cost of capital, that is KW, and KD remain unchanged for all degrees of leverage. This line is very, very important. This starting point. See, thus an increase in the use of apparently cheaper debt funds is offset exactly by the corresponding increase in the equity capitalization rate. That is how this KW and KD will remain same, will remain unchanged for all the degrees of leverage. Needless to mention here that as the firm increases its degree of leverage, it becomes more risky proposition and investors are to make some sacrifice by having a low price earning ratio. So what thing will happen if these things are happening in the company, that this overall capitalization rate, that is KW, then KD, are all remaining same, and you are increasing the degree of leverage, that means you are increasing the inclusion of debt in the capital structure, then it is needless to mention that this company is going to be seen as a risky venture to the investors, and they will have to compromise with the price earning ratio. That means their earnings from the investment, that is the investors' investment from earnings from the investment that they have done on the company, is going to reduce, and they will have to compromise on that. This was not so in the case of net income approach, where we have assumed that the investors will not perceive more risk if there are more amount of debt in the capital structure of the firm. Okay. All right. So I will not move ahead. I'll just do one theory each day so that you understand all the theories properly. So today's task is what? You will have to draw this diagram in your copy and then explain. You will have to write the assumptions, you will have to draw the diagram, and then you will have to explain what is happening in the capital structure, or what is happening with the cost, with the different costs of the firm. So you will give the heading as behaviors of KE, that is cost of equity, KW, that is overall cost of capital, and KD, that is cost of debt, under net operating income approach. And then you will draw this diagram where you will keep KD and KW as a straight line, as a parallel straight line to the, as a straight line parallel to the x-axis, because on x-axis you are plotting the degree of leverage. So when you are drawing a line parallel to the x-axis, then you are stating that the overall that those two lines indicated by KW and KD are not changing with the degree of leverage. Whatever is the degree of leverage, the overall cost of capital and the cost of debt is not going to change, but this cost of equity is going to change. That's why you will mention that as a dotted line. Can you see in the diagram? Those dotted lines indicates KE, that is cost of equity, or KS also you can write. Yeah, it is KE mentioned, so you write KE on there. Okay. So by K you will mention, you will indicate that, and that will change with the degree of leverage. And what will happen? Thus, the last line you will write that it is needless to mention that as the firm will increase the degree of leverage, it will obviously become a risky venture, it will become a risky proposition, and investors are to make some sacrifice because they will be having low price equity earning ratio. That's why they will have to sacrifice on their earnings being generated, because if more debt are there, more loan are there, more interest will have to be paid, and that will decrease their earnings percentage. Okay. So this sum we will do after we finish off all the theories theoretically. After that we will do the sums separately from a book. We will not do the internet sums. We will do sums from the book. Okay. So your homework for today is you will draw this diagram, you write the assumption, and then you will explain the diagram. First you will write the assumption, then you will draw the diagram, and then you will explain. You can write from the same note which you can see on your screen, but it should be in your copy. Okay. Any doubt you can ask till the time I am taking attendance. Yes, respond please. Abhijit, Abhishna,
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Anurag, Aryan, Ashish,
Yes, ma'am.
Ashmita, Vibechna, Debrupa, Harshita,
Present, ma'am.
Ishika Chaudhary,
Present, ma'am.
Ishika Agarwal, Kajal,
Present, ma'am.
Kasak, Khushi,
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Prizan,
Present, ma'am.
Mahima, Mamta,
Yes, ma'am.
Muskan Prasad,
Yes, ma'am.
Muskan Gupta,
Yes, ma'am.
Namrata,
Yes, ma'am.
Nidhi,
Present, ma'am.
Nitesh, Parnadeep, Pavan, Prashil, Pratiksha Chetri,
Present,
Pratiksha Giri,
ma'am.
Priyanka,
Present, ma'am.
Pooja, Rahul, Rajat, Ramkrishna, Rohit Bansal, Rohit Pandey, Sagar, Salina, Shalini,
Present, ma'am.
Shruti,
Yes, ma'am.
Siddhant, Saurav,
Present, ma'am.
Sobit, Supriya,
Present, ma'am.
Suraj, Swayam, Tanya, Vinit. Okay then. You can leave the class. See you tomorrow morning. Bye bye.